All right, the people have spoken, so I'm gonna turn off Bahamadia Radio, and we gonna get it on. All right. Today's not Thursday. What? Where's it say Thursday? Did I put Thursday somewhere? I don't know what day it is. Shit, I'm old. I told y'all, I'm senile, like the president. Anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to Skywoman Live. This is a special Friday night edition. We don't usually do a Friday night edition, but there's so much going on that I decided to go ahead and do a special show for you because I care. I'm your host, Chris Newman, and today we are jumping right in. No warm-up, no foreplay, no talking you through it. We're going to jump right into food and farming news in a segment we might as well call, What the Hell Is It Now? And what it is now is a deepening lovers quarrel between President and Gilded Age ballroom construction magnate Donald Trump and one of the most reliable parts of his base, American cattle ranchers. The star-crossed lovers are having a bit of a spat about high cattle prices and who benefits and what, if anything, is to be done about it. But it's hard to make heads or tails of what's going on if you don't know how the cattle business works. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a crash course, like a 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute, depends on how many tangents I go on, a crash course in beef production right now. But first, please remember that while this education may be free to you, it unfortunately is not free to me. So please consider sending a gift of roses or tiny dinosaurs or corgis or one of the 6 galaxies in our goal for tonight's program, or drop some love at venmo.com/Skywoman Media. That's me. You will see the pink circle when you go there, and that's how you know it is me and not someone posing as a tall, beige, awkward idiot. Now, if you're not in the cattle business, you may not know that there are various specialties within the cattle business, and many cattle ranchers tend to specialize in one of those segments. This part is important to understand. Damn, I'm fly as hell. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I got distracted. So anyhow, there's many segments within the cattle business. Many people think cattle rancher and think that's just like a big monolith of rednecks who vote the wrong way and get screwed because of it. But no, there are many, many segments, and they kind of lead into each other. And for me, it's very interesting because I work in this business, and maybe it'll be interesting to you. First, there's the seed stock segment, which are the people that breed stud bulls and either lease those bulls or mail their semen. The bull's semen, not the rancher's semen. It's bull semen to people operating in the second segment, which is called cow-calf. As the name suggests, these are ranchers who have lots of cows, which they breed with the leased bulls or bull and not rancher semen to produce a crop of calves, which once weaned from their mother's milk, which means they're eating feed and they're not sucking on their mama's titties no more, they are sold at auction or on contract to ranchers in the next segment, which are called backgrounders. Okay, so we have the seed stock people that are providing the semen, the bull semen, okay, not the rancher semen, and that's going to the cow-calf people. They're inseminating their cows, so they give birth to calves, and then the calves get weaned. They get big enough so they can eat grass, and then they go to the backgrounders. Backgrounders specialize in taking weaned steers, which are castrated males, and unbreedable heifers, which are weaned females that won't, can't, or shouldn't be bred, putting them on grass and getting them big enough to go to the fattening stage. At this point, for the overwhelming majority of cattle in the United States, these cattle are then passed on to the final segment, which is the fattening segment, which is usually going to be a feedlot where the last couple of 100 pounds of weight are put on the animal, most of it being the marbling that makes the cattle delicious. From there, the cattle are sold to processors or slaughterhouses, unless, of course, the processor owns the feedlot, which they often do, at which point they're made into delicious steaks and roasts and ground beef or Arby's. Now, for the purposes of this story, the segment we're going to pay the most attention to is the cow-calf segment. These are the people that own all those cows, that make the calves that are sold at auction. Damn, there's different gifts on TikTok than I'm used to. Hot damn. Anyhow, the people that own all those cows and make the calves that are sold at auction, because ever since the pandemic, those people in particular have been making a killing. Because when it comes down to it, they're the ones creating the nation's beef supply. Remember, they take they take the creamy bull jizz and they put it in the cow's ass. And then we talking ass figuratively. We talking about the whole reproductive ass area of the cow. All right. And then a damn baby cow pop out of the cow puss. And that's where your McDonald's hamburgers come from. Okay, did I make that clear enough? I hope I did. If I didn't, too damn bad. Anyhow, as a mix of drought and plague and tariffs and bad presidents have pinched the beef supply, the calves they sell at auction have become incredibly valuable. In the last 3 years, the price of weaned steers, that's the ones that usually become beef, have more than doubled. And the price of yearling heifers, and that's the females that haven't yet been bred but are destined to become breeders, has nearly tripled. These prices are, of course, being passed on to other segments of the beef supply chain, from the backgrounder to the slaughterhouse, and ultimately to you, the consumer. But recently, Der Führer, Donald Trump, has decided that the beef is too damn high and has pledged to attack those high prices like they were a fishing boat in the Caribbean with an 80,000 metric ton cruise missile made out of Argentine beef. Probably stretching that metaphor a little bit. Yes, Donald Trump has now pledged to quadruple the import quota for Argentine beef to 80,000 metric tons after giving that country a $40 billion economic lifeline and surrendering to them our Chinese soybean export market. American ranchers are left scratching their heads and wondering, do the words America and Argentina look and sound enough alike that our senile fucking president maybe just forgot which one he's leading? In any case, President Trump wasted no time heading over to Truth Social to address America's disappointed cattle ranchers with his best Les Grossman impression.
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
That's basically what he said. It was wild. Yeah, so he took to Truth Social, and the President of the United States, and I will quote him here on his very own social media platform, the cattle ranchers, who I love, it should be whom I love, because the cattlemen are the object, but we're not going to dwell on that. The cattle ranchers who I love don't understand that the only reason they're doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as bad as they've done for the last 20 years. Terrible! It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. So that I have to wash the bullshit now. Yeah, it's real nice. It's clean. Real clean from the hose. Anyhow, you see what's happening here. Again, the president is demonstrating that he has no fucking idea how anything in the world works. See, beef cattle is a commodity, which means that every beef steer is more or less just like every other beef steer of the same grade. Because commodities are interchangeable, be it gold or bushels of wheat or beef cattle, they are known as price takers, which means the people producing them don't really get to settle the price. When you have a crop of weaned calves ready to sell, you load them up onto your trailer, okay? You put your flat Wrangler jean wearing ass into the seat of your truck, you drive them to the auction house, okay? And you wait for everybody else to get the hell on out the way and drop their shit off, and then you back your trailer up to the gate, and then you let them off. And as the cattle are coming off, some redneck will be standing there going, like kind of judging a little bit, you know, as they come off, like maybe saying, maybe that's bullshit. If you got a real fat calf coming off there, he'll go, well, I guess you didn't starve him to death. You know, they say some little, they be talking little shit. You know what I mean? Not that I know that from personal experience, bitch. If Colton over there watching this shit tell me that I fed my calves. My calf's fat as shit. Like your mama. Anyway, so you drop your cattle off, okay, at which point they're going to be inspected and sorted and weighed and tagged, and then you go to hell home. Like, unless you know somebody there, unless you're going to be buying something there, unless you got some business at the auction house. So you got a double cousin you need to talk to about him having sex with your sister's cousin's wife. Like you go to hell home, okay? And then you're gonna wait for the auction house to mail you a check. And the check is gonna have a stub attached, and the stub is going to tell you how much each of your lots of shit, and by shit, I mean calves or whatever it is you're dropping off the auction house, it's going to say what each lot sold for. At no point do you, as the cattle rancher, have the ability to do what the president says, which is get your price down. You don't control the price. You take whatever price happens at the auction where the guy's going 20, 35, 45, like that goes on. Like that's how it actually works. I've been there. I was scared because I was the only black dude there, and there's an auction, a bunch of white people in front of it. They might get excited. I don't like being a black person at an auction. But anyway, there's really only two things affecting the price of beef at the moment, and that's going to be the supply and the demand. And each of those things is split up into domestic and foreign. So you're gonna have foreign supply, and you're gonna have, I ain't no damn half white. Hold on, I'm gonna interrupt the whole program just for Daniel's loud ass. Now you're gonna talk about somebody half white. Motherfucker, I'm looking at you. All right, everybody you see this tan and beige ain't got no goddamn white mama or daddy. All right, I got me an Indian daddy, and I got me a black mama, and you can kiss my whole entire ass, is what I'm saying. My white ancestor is back in the goddamn 1700s. I got one, and he's the reason I got good credit. So how you like me now? Anyway, you've got supply and you've got demand, and then you've got the foreign supply, and you've got the domestic supply, and then you've got the foreign demand, and then you got the domestic demand, and we're going to look in detail. We're going to look in detail about how the president is ruining each and every single one of those. So we're going to start with the domestic supply side. On the domestic supply side, you have U.S. cattle ranchers who can't really increase the size of their beef herds because of record droughts and flooding driven by climate change that the president seems hell-bent on making much, much worse. And interestingly, another problem restricting the domestic supply is the increasing difficulty of getting access to veterinary services to keep herds healthy. There's been a dearth of rural vets for decades, but their flight is accelerating because it turns out that highly educated, immensely skilled empaths who train twice as hard as medical doctors to get paid a third as much aren't interested in living in red states that deliberately defund their own public schools and hospitals just to own the libs. Tastes like failure. And as the final nail in the coffin, the Trump administration ended Inflation Reduction Act programs like the Meat and Poultry Expansion Program and the local meat capacity grants that were designed to bring more small, local, regional, and first-generation producers into the market to alleviate the supply shortages coming from the big conventional producers. So that's the domestic side. On the foreign supply side, the president putting taxes on Brazilian imports is expected to pull at least 350,000 and as many as a 500,000 tons of beef out of our beef supply. He's promising to alleviate this with an additional 60,000 tons of beef from Argentina, which brings us up to the 80,000. See, they had a quota; they could bring in 20,000 tons of beef. And now he's going to let them bring in 80,000. So he's bringing in an extra 60,000 tons of Argentine. That's arithmetic. It's very smart. Went to college, but Trump, described by one of his Wharton Business School professors as the dumbest goddamn student I ever had, doesn't seem to understand that one of these numbers is much bigger than the other. We, of course, import beef from other countries besides Brazil, so let's just go down the list in decreasing order of importance to see what maybe our prospects are of our foreign beef suppliers maybe unfucking the beef supply here. Okay, so first off, we have Australia. Is anybody here from Australia? I apologize for how shitty we are. Is that a good Australian accent? Sometimes my Italian and my Irish, anyway, I can't imitate white people. Australia, where 24% of our beef imports come from. The president put a 10% tariff on Aussie beef on Liberation Day back in April, and it's still there. So next up, you got Canada. We call them America Junior sometimes, except they got healthcare and we don't. You kiss my whole entire black ass with your damn healthcare. I wish I had healthcare. Providing 22% of our beef imports. They've got a 25% tariff on the beef they send to the United States, and they're suffering from the same supply restricting drought conditions that we are. And just today, the president canceled bilateral trade talks with Canada over a commercial running in that country that featured Ronald Reagan calling tariffs a bad idea. He just threw a little hissy fit and canceled the trade talks because fuck us. Next up is Brazil, that supplies about 15% of our beef imports. We already talked about them. There's a 50% tariff on beef from Brazil on top of an already existing 26% tariff for the existing quota that was already there. So say bye-bye to the supply from Brazil as it sails to China, along with most of the damn soybeans that we used to sell over there anyway. And next, there's Mexico. Now, Mexico has a 25% tariff on their beef and is dealing with a plague of flesh-eating screwworms. So imports of cattle to the U.S. have been banned for now. And then next up, we have New Zealand. We love New Zealand. They're the grass-fed specialists. They're real good at the grass-fed stuff. They make a lovely, if kind of tough steak. They've got a 15% tariff. And then, of course, there's the European Union. And so anyway, all of these foreign and domestic supply restrictions have led, perhaps not surprisingly, to the long-delayed Consumer Price Index report, thank you, government shutdown, indicating that September saw beef prices jump nearly 15% over the last year, 5 times the rate of inflation for that same period. So, if the supply of beef is driving up the price with no end in sight, then it's really up to the demand side of beef to bring the price down. And ironically, the only way to really do that is to just not eat beef. Many of our overseas trading partners are doing exactly that as they respond to Trump's tariffs with retaliatory tariffs or outright bans of U.S. beef on their own. But the U.S. only exports about 11 or 12% of our beef, so the bulk of the bovine boycott is going to happen here at home, or if not an outright boycott, then at least restricting your beef consumption to the 30% of cattle ranchers that didn't vote for this shit and sell direct to market, which will effectively accomplish the same thing as a complete boycott. Because there's more lefty beef out there than you might think, but not nearly enough to prop up the cattleman's short-lived Gilded Age. So, what do y'all think? How's the price of beef in your area? Do you know a local producer that didn't vote for this mess so you can keep eating the world's most delicious methane emitter guilt-free? Are you ready for a boycott? Are you ready for anything? Request up to talk about your beef with beef. And of course, as always, everyone remember to please drop a gift or a contribution to Venmo at venmo.com/Skywoman Media. Contribute one of the 6 galaxies that we have up here in our goal, or one of them TikTok hats, or one of them big old dragon crowns that I just got up there, or a tiny dinosaur, or roses, or the corgi that shake its ass all up in your face. They'll do whatever it's got to do. Or consider subscribing to my Patreon, where, believe it or not, there's an audiobook version of my book being released 1 chapter at a time, very, very slowly. Anyway, request up. Let's see what's up. Drop your comments down here. We're gonna address some comments and whatnot for about a half hour or so, or until I get exhausted. Thank you for my dragon crown right there. But anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and let's see who is requesting up. We're gonna start with Aina. I think I pronounced that right, maybe.
Hi.
There we go. Now I can hear. Hello.
Hi. Well, let me first say I love your content. I love the information that you put out. Thank you so much. As being a beige farmer, I'm like, yes, somebody who's telling the truth, not because you're beige, but because you're honest and you're truthful. So I really do appreciate you for that. That is number one. Number two, here in New York, do you know how long it's been since I had beef? One, I'm in New York, so it's already expensive, right? But then you have these tariffs and everything going on. Yo, listen, a cut of brisket, right?
Mm-hmm.
A cut got more fat than meat. Okay, you can see it. $76. I said, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
76 for how big?
I'm, you know, it's not big enough. I can tell you that much. Okay? I look at it and I say, you gotta be freaking flipping kidding me. Okay?
You look at beef prices now, you're just flabbergasted. Like, yeah, it's impossible, and it's only going to get worse. Thank you for piping in. I got a whole bunch of people in the queue. Good
You
lord.
know, but I will say this though. When you start to deliver to
Mhm.
New York, drop me a line because
That's
I rather buy from you than going to the store.
We are
All
working on
right.
getting up to New York. I promise.
Please, please make it soon
As
because
soon as we
we're
can.
kind of suffering up here. Okay.
I hear you.
All right. But thank you very much. Have a great night and keep doing what you're doing. You are amazing.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you, sis. Thank you. Let's see who we got next up in the queue. Yeah, the rent, the beef, everything is just excuse me, too damn high. I wish I could see what order people requested in, so I guess I'll just get the person up top. Let's see. I am Kells, I believe is the name. I am. Oh, and she gone. Yep. See, that's what happened. Just like prom night. Let's see. Next, let's get Rich up here. Rich. Rich. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect that one. This happens a lot. Don't worry about it, y'all. Let's see who's next. Falcon Reeds. Hello, hello.
Hello. We buy a cow. I have not run out of my cow yet in the deep freezer, so I will not be buying beef anytime soon. Personally, however, I live in southeastern Virginia, and a bunch of my friends were looking at the website today, and they were disappointed that your beef is sold out. So while I had the chance, since it was a subject of conversation earlier today, when can my friends buy beef from you again?
So the person I get my beef from is a friend of mine who lives up the road in Colonial Beach. We just got a steer in. We're filling a bunch of backlogged orders now, and then once that's settled down, we'll put it back up on the website. So probably within the next week or so, it'll be back up. And unfortunately, it's going to be gone real soon after that. We're working on it. Me and my partners are having discussions now about, do we scale up beef now? Do we get more into eggs? Like the whole food system is just foobarred at this point. It's like we can't grow everything we wish we could. But there will be something up there soon within the next few days, I promise.
Okay, yeah. As far as buying a whole cow, for those of you guys who are not aware, it's best to go talk to the farmers in your area. And I know that it's really expensive, but my parents are the one that does it. And I just give my mom the money that she asks for when she tells me that she's buying a cow, and our family, my mom pays the farmer. My mom buys the cow and then pays a butcher to butcher the cow. My mom's got a
They do
whole
all of that.
system set up.
Yeah.
My mom has a whole system set up for this every year. So we're just not buying a cow this year. And my mom is probably going to buy whole chickens from somewhere. She's in Maryland and she lives in Amish country.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So she literally walks up to them, like, walks up to the little general store that she runs and negotiates for a cow. And that is how our family does meat, just because it's cheaper. And my dad will literally, it's cheaper for my dad to drive half a cow down to me in Virginia than it is to buy beef at the grocery store right now. So
Real. Like, yeah.
so we bought our cow in December. My mom, as soon as he won the election, my mom was like, "Oh hell no!" And she started stocking up on stuff. So we have our cow. We were prepared for his nonsense, and we knew this was coming. If you have not bought your cow, I highly recommend making friends with the farmers in your area. If you can't afford to buy a cow by yourself, if you get a trustworthy group of friends or family together and split the cost of buying a cow, it will be cheaper for you in the long run. And if you learn how to butcher your own chickens, which I have not learned how to do, but I have 5 older brothers, so that's their job. It also makes things cheaper because you can buy from a farmer and do it yourself. Sorry, I have tiny humans. Stop it!
Oh, I know what that's like. That's my whole life.
But yeah, that's my spiel on cows. The regime is only going to get worse. I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Steve Bannon today, where he was talking about we're going to have another Trump presidency in 2028, and he's got a plan. So I don't know what Steve Bannon's plan is, but I know it's not good for us.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Falcon. I got a list of people who I'm gonna try to get as many people as I can.
My bad. Yeah, tiny human. Have a good night.
All right, now y'all be good. Yeah, honestly, like getting in a relationship with a farmer and like being able to know where your food comes from, like that's fantastic. What I'm afraid is going to happen is there's going to be a flood of people coming to farmers, and what kind of sucks is, again, I talked about those Inflation Reduction Act programs that Donald Trump got rid of, the meat and poultry expansion program, the local market access program, stuff like that, the ones that he immediately defunded. Those were intended to set up more small slaughterhouses, because what'll happen right now is if I try to take 12 extra steers to like one of the small independent slaughterhouses right now, they'll just laugh at me on the phone and be like, you need to get in the back of the line because there's a year-long wait list. And it's been that way since the pandemic. It was bad before the pandemic. There was like 4 or 5 month wait list, but now it's gotten more ridiculous, and there's so little capacity for like the alternatives, and doesn't feel like an accident. But anyhow, let's see who is up here next. Let's go to weird anonymous. I think I picked. I don't know. The names were shuffling around. We're going to go to Levi. Levi, what's happening, brother?
Hey, man. So with this conversation, beef being so goddamn expensive, I eat a lot of beef because I actually can't eat poultry. I'm actually allergic to poultry, so that's unfortunate for me because I also still love fried chicken. But like that is primarily like my main meat that I go to is like ground beef and such. And with it getting more and more expensive nowadays, it's just ridiculous. And like especially with the price of rent and everything, you've mentioned it a lot. Yeah, thanks for the comment on my hair, y'all. But no,
I'm jealous.
It's the first thing that comes up every time, I swear. But yeah, but no, I do live in a place where there's a lot of ranchers with a lot of mixed feelings about everything, because like it's a very conservative area that I live in, but like they are very much like yeah, sure, whatever kind of thing, and they just like the ones that have that talk radio blasting in the background are the ones that nobody likes anyway. And so like I have met a couple of ranchers around, but like most of them were in over toward Wyoming. I'm over in Idaho, so it's like the Wyoming side of it, you got like Double R Ranch, which is a huge ranch over there by Jackson. Nice people from the 2 of them that I met, but like it's that kind of thing where like I'm gonna have to go hunting for that kind of thing around here.
Yeah.
But like
Totally. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The beef is too damn high
like,
all over the country, no matter where you're from. If
it's too damn high.
If you're here, doesn't matter. And yeah, like good luck. Like I said, kind of finding somebody who A didn't bring this upon us, and B has slots at the abattoir to be able to get you a quarter beef or a half beef or a whole steer. it's rough out here, and like the last
Oh
person
yeah.
said, it's going to get worse because we're only 7 months in, bro. It's 7 to 8 months. Like holy
Yeah.
shit, we have so much longer to go, and he's going to live forever. Like, the worst people
Um.
always.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I appreciate you
Oh
calling up.
man.
I'm glad we got some allies
Yeah.
out in
Appreciate you
Idaho.
answering.
But yeah, y'all be good. Take care. And I'm gonna see who we can get on. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff switching around on here. Let's go to. I think I got anonymous COE coming up next. Anonymous anonymous something. Hello, hello.
What's going on, man?
What's happening, buddy? How y'all feeling?
Hey, man, I just want to jump on here and say, man, I love your content. I saw a post you did maybe about a month and a half ago. You were on that, Trump bashing shit, but like that kind of got me attracted. But like, look, I watch all your content. You're a very smart, authentic person. And I see so much in store for you beyond TikTok. Like, I think that you're heading for mainstream, exposure. So I just want to tell you, hey, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep speaking the truth. Keep spitting those facts. And I'm a fan. Hey, and by the way, you actually look like me. You except my ears stick out a little bit more. And
I stuck out a lot more when I was a kid. I had that
and your
conversation.
and your eyebrows are spaced out a little bit more, man. I'd love to meet you one day. Hey, keep up what you're doing, man.
Appreciate you, man.
I gotta take care of my girl.
Have a good night.
All right.
All right, let's see. 7:39. We got plenty of time. Good deal, good deal. Let's see who's on here. Let's go to Grizz Squatch. Because that name is cool. Grizz Squatch, what's happening?
Oh, you actually caught me in the middle of taking care of my flock of birds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What you got?
All right, so I got quail because a while back everybody was getting into raising chickens, and I was like, well, hell, everybody else around here is raising chickens and ducks. Let me do something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I landed on quail after doing a little bit of research into them, and doing quail is a little bit more efficient than raising chickens because the feed to egg ratio or the feed to meat ratio that you're getting out of them is a little bit better than chickens is. So I was like, you know what? I'm all for saving money and getting more efficient farming done. So let's go into quail.
Yeah, good for y'all, man. Yeah, they start laying a lot earlier too, right?
Yeah, so they can start as early as 8 weeks.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, no, like once I found that out, I was like, oh, so I can really get this up and off the ground real quick.
Now the question I got is how many quail eggs does it take to be satisfied, like as a meal?
Okay, so typically speaking, unless you have like jumbo Coternics laying like jumbo-sized eggs all the time, typically speaking, it takes about, on average, like 2 to 3 quail eggs to equal the amount that you would get from one chicken egg. So
really? That's true. Okay.
Yeah, and that makes it easy for conversions and baking because you can use quail eggs the same way you use chicken eggs. But as far as like ratios go from chicken eggs to quail eggs actually have more protein per volume than chicken eggs do.
Yeah. And somebody down here asked, do they have that dark meat like ducks do?
Kinda, yeah. It's actually a very rich meat. We actually last year for Thanksgiving we did a dozen quail carcasses for Thanksgiving instead of a turkey.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, they were really good. Anyway, but no, I just wanted to hop on here for a quick sec. Say that I love your content. It's actually really cool the way you're doing your what do they call that? The tractor style chicken coop.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
No, I was actually kind of looking at that for a minute about doing that with the quail, but I think I'm going to just do a stationary run because next year I'm looking at getting my numbers up until like the 150 head mark for my quail.
Yeah.
That way I can start selling eggs like to volume. Because right now we're getting like about 120 to 150 eggs in a week. But if I can bump up that number, I could.
Oh, did we lose him? He's out there feeding the
No,
chickens. So you got murdered by your quail. You can't trust the chicken or the quail. We still got you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna take up too much of your time, and I gotta get back.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping on, and y'all take care with them quail.
Oh yeah.
I think I might actually cut them off, but this thing has delays and they're super awkward. Yeah, like it's one of the upsides of all this craziness that's going on is that maybe people are going to start trying like lots of different kinds of meat. Quail, I've had it before. It's delicious from what I remember. I didn't remember it being dark meat, but now that I think about it, it kind of was. Duck, love to death. I think more people are going to get into lamb. People might get into goat more. Pork, I hear the prices are relatively fantastic. But yeah, we're going to see people hopefully exploring all the different kind of proteins there are, including a couple of people that said, you know what, an impossible meatloaf tastes just as good as a beef meatloaf. I don't necessarily agree, but at this point, fuck it. Let's see, who else is on? Who do we got? Let's go to Tyler. Tyler, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. What's going on?
Question for you. So I've already been in the pits of the internet, the Charlie Kirk depths of hell. And I've seen a lot of people spin this beef shit as a way of, the Argentinians use less antibiotics or less growth hormones and things like that. Does that, I saw your video about, chickens not having any of that shit, but we know people in America can't really read. So my question is that, do you worry about that bleed over into the chicken industry? And do you have at what point do you think this ends as a farmer? Other than with the death of Cheeto.
I think Cheeto has unlocked something that's been festering in the body politic for a long time, just waiting for a reason to come out. I think now that the cat's out of the bag, I don't know if it's going to be very easy to put it back in. When it comes to the stuff with beef with Argentina, I can't say that I'm familiar with their standards in terms of what's allowed, what's not allowed. Generally speaking, the United States agriculturally is a grain and livestock country. Like when you look at on a nation by nation basis, like geography, topography, history, like lots of things kind of conspire to have a thing that countries are good at producing. And for us, it is grain and livestock because we have huge, broad expanses of flat, deep soiled land. We have really good tall grass prairie, lots of natural grasslands. So we're good at growing relatively good beef for that reason. Argentina, Brazil, not so much. So for reasons that aren't necessarily related to any kind of inputs or hormones, there are certain steroids that are allowed within U.S. beef and imported U.S. beef. I don't know exactly what they are, but like Argentine beef just isn't as good because the quality of their forage just generally isn't as good as it is here in the United States, and it's going to be the same thing down in Brazil. If you just compare where cattle are backgrounded, say here or in a place like New Zealand or Australia versus the way it's done in Argentina or really anywhere in South America, the climates that we use are just better for it. So can't say about like how clean the beef will be, but I just know the quality generally is not going to be as good. The stuff we were getting from Brazil, for example, is usually ground. We have a huge appetite here for ground beef, and usually you're not going to be getting steaks and premium cuts from Brazil. It's usually going to be 80 to 95% lean. Argentina's probably going to be roughly the same thing. So, and where does that end? I'm not too afraid of it bleeding over into chicken. It's like growth hormones in chickens, it just kind of doesn't make sense. Like growth hormones are used in beef cattle just because of how long it takes to get a steer to market. You're talking, if you're doing a grass-fed steer, that process can take 2.5, sometimes even 3 years. With grain-finished stuff, it's shorter, but you're still looking at least 18 months, and any kind of growth agents that can be safely given to them, you can almost bet are going to be given to them to reduce the time to market and to get that price down. It's something that I wish the public would talk about more about, like what the trade-offs are between growing things quickly and growing things in a way where you're eating stuff that don't realize what exactly is in it. Not all inputs are necessarily bad, but it's good to have truth and transparency so people know what they're doing, so they can make informed choices. But like you said, Americans, if they can't read, they don't like to read, or vice versa. And we're a theocracy of money, and often it's the price that wins at the end of the day at all costs.
Yep. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you. Take care now.
You too.
All right, let's see. 7:48. We still got a little bit of time. Let's see. Somebody asked if I'll ever grow lamb. So, like, people have asked me a lot about diversifying because I'm like the chicken guy. So we raise eggs, we raise chickens. My partners and I are going back and forth now about whether we're going to scale eggs or broiler meat first. We're probably going to go eggs. That's kind of where the discussion's going so far. But pigs, lamb, goat, etc. I talk about in my book. Where I like to go is where the market is. Everybody eats chicken for the most part, unless like the gentleman a couple callers back has an allergy to it. But I go where the market is. So chicken, like, it's not a niche market. Lamb is great. I personally love lamb. Love me a lamb chop with mint jelly and all that. But it's seasonal. It's hard to move the whole lamb. Like, everybody loves lamb chops. But when's the last time anybody had a leg of lamb? When's the last time you had lamb ribs? Lamb shoulder, like any of that. It's got a very small market. It's fairly niche, and it is, if you can specialize in it, if you've got like kind of a dedicated customer and you're able to move the whole animal and all that stuff, like, that's great. But for me, that's never been the case. So I like chicken, I like eggs, because it's easy to sell a whole chicken, easy to sell a whole egg, and it's easy to move a whole lot of them. Just wanted to remind everybody real quick, request to talk about whatever your beef is with beef. Is it too expensive? What the hell is going on in the markets? Is it ever going to end? Have you boycotted beef? Have you found beef alternatives? What are you up to with it? And please remember, if you can, to drop a gift: roses, tiny dinosaurs, baby corgis, dragon hemlets, galaxies, whatever you might be so inclined to donate, so we can continue this program forever and ever and ever. Let's see who is in the queue. Let's go to MC Squared, if I clicked on that right, which I may or may not have. There we go. MC Squared, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Oh, not too bad. How y'all feeling?
Doing good. I mean, first and foremost, I'm going to say the same thing everyone else is saying. Is thank you for putting out the content that you do. You're an incredible person.
Thank
I
you.
showed up for the chicken eating. I have stayed for the politics, and I absolutely love it. So thank you for that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
But yeah, so check this out. I live in Nevada. Beef for us has generally been less expensive across the board. We do have a lot of ranchers up north from us and surrounding us, but we are getting hit too. I'm seeing it. Generally, my family and I will purchase a 7-bone prime rib for the holidays.
Yeah.
And we started to price them out, and we're noticing that it used to be 100, 110, maybe 120, and we're up to nearly $200 for the 7-bone now. So
Yep.
we're switching back to turkey, and and I haven't had a good cut of beef in like 6 months. Everything's just too damn high now.
Yeah. It's out of control. I mean, we got the woman that sells me my beef now. Like, she just let me know she just paid $18,000 for 8 feeder calves.
Oh my God.
Her prices, she said, are up 165% from 2022, and that's on the low end. The last time I bought feeder calves at auction, they were $175 per hundredweight. I just checked Southside Auctions feeder prices today. 500-pound calves are going for $405 a hundredweight, and this is less than 3 years later. And there is no end in sight for this stuff. Thank you, MC Squared. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. There is no end in sight for this. Like, and this is, I think I might have brought it up in the post I did about this morning. The only way this stops is when the consumer says enough. when the boycotts start, when we start getting political about this shit, because like like these cattle guys are saying, like, they're saying we're profitable, we're making money, we're reinvesting in our farms, we're doing blah blah blah, like it's always been a tight margin business, because when you get into commodities, like, that's the way it is. Commodities are indistinguishable from other commodities, so it's always going to be a volume-oriented business. Like, you cannot get into things like growing wheat or cattle or corn or whatever, and then wonder why you're not making like 13-14% margins, because that's not the way commodities work. Commodities are volume oriented, and it's going to be about razor thin margins at volume. That's the way it is. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, as long as there's like environmental and regulatory controls around it. But this is where we're at, and like it's just not going to stop until the demand side, because again, there's no help coming from the supply side. Donald Trump is tightening the import supplies, using tariffs, using trade wars, shutting down commerce in certain cases. Like, there's no help coming from there. American producers cannot produce more, right? Because you've got drought, you've got weather issues that are preventing people from being able to expand their herds. We don't have enough vets out in the rural areas to help the cow-calf people keep their herds healthy. If you're going to open up more lands, like say protected lands or whatever, that's going to come at the direct expense of the environment and wetlands, and like I can see them now like relaxing standards around letting cows near waterways and riparian areas. You're just going to trade lower beef prices for poison water. And then you got the president killing the Inflation Reduction Act programs that were supposed to bring more plants online. So that small producers like me, like when somebody wants to buy steers from me, I don't have to wait in line at a small slaughterhouse for a year, waiting for my stuff to get done. So there's zero help coming from the supply side. It's all going to be about the demand side, and people just saying, like, organizing to crash the demand for the stuff. Unfortunately, that's really all there is when it comes to getting any help on this. Let's see, I think we got Bryn on here, possibly Brian. What's up, buddy?
Yes, sir.
What's happening?
Not much. Driving trucks, and I'm sitting on standby, and I just wanted to come on real quick and say I love your content. I found you talking about farming, talking about chickens, and I was like, man, this guy's got some cool stuff to say. Let me give him a follow. And then I wanted to offer an apology, because I came onto one of your lives the other day when you were processing chickens, and I accidentally stirred up some shit I didn't know about. So I didn't know. I had read that article before. So I asked you about Joel Salatin.
Yeah.
And I think it got you hot. And I was trying to present the question neutrally, because I also have some feelings of my own about him, having worked. Yeah. I raised beef in Lexington, Virginia, for Broadview Ranch, and I did that for several years, and got into it partly because of his books and because of some of the stuff that he was writing. Yeah. And I found out, after spending some time in it, that it wasn't everything that I was expecting it to be. I feel like the environmental aspects of it weren't there. The benefits of it environmentally, as far as, it just wasn't what I hoped it was going to be, and I got kind of disenchanted about it. I also got really frustrated trying to sell beef at farmers markets and trying to find. We had some luck with restaurants and repeat buyers and stuff like that, but the money wasn't there like that I thought it was going to be from reading these books. You can get rich off an acre or whatever. And so that was kind of like part of my issue with him. And the other issue was just that, as you unfortunately have encountered, he has some really suspect politics. And I apologize again, because I didn't recognize you from the article that I read. And I was like, oh, this is the guy that I'm following on TikTok, is the guy that had this issue with him, and so again, like I said, I just want to apologize for that.
Oh man, no apologies necessary. I actually remember. I remember when you said something about him on that live, and I'm just a guy that pops off. I wasn't even mad. It was just like I saw Salton's name. I'm like, man, fuck that dude. That's got nothing to do with you. And I saw like later you said, yeah, you had your own issues with him. And yeah, I mean, Joel, like when I got into farming, like, and this is going to be back in like 2012, 2013, when I'm first starting to read about it. You know, I'm in tech. I'm a software engineer. I don't know shit. I know about ag. You know, Joel's books were really some of the only ones out there. Like this was before like all like the whole friggin' hive mind of like Justin Rhodes's and JM48's and Leah Penniman's and like all these people were like talking about ag. Like for a while, like Joel was the only one. The only two books that I had to even try to like figure out what the landscape looked like was Joel's like You Can Farm book or whatever. And another one written by this like random like cattle rancher out in Arkansas that I swear to God had a cover that looked like it was done in like friggin' 1995 Microsoft Paint or something like that, called How to Not Go Broke Ranching. And both of them were full of wild shit. I mean, like Joel blaming women for not knowing how to cut up chickens anymore, and the Arkansas rancher just straight up calling climate change like a Chinese hoax or some shit. Like it was the amount of crazy that came along with it, but it's like I had no one else to learn about like rotational grazing and like how grass management works. Like that was it. So like you just kind of had to hold your breath and deal with it and learn from who you had to learn from. But yeah, it's unfortunate that yeah, there's a lot of things that just kind of don't work out on the ground, and the money part's the big one. Like, you know, I've done the thing too, trying to sell beef and chicken and shit at farmers markets. And you know, when you're new, and you know, you probably ran into this. When you're new, you're not able to really get into the really big market, so you wind up going to a small market. You're lucky to make like $300 on a good day. It's like a weekday market, not a whole hell of a lot of traffic. You're in a parking lot somewhere, and it's the worst. Like trying to establish relationships, people one at a time. Things are different now with social media being different than it was like 12, 13 years ago, But yeah, that I hear you, man. Like all the issues that you had with Joel, like I feel like you and me went through the same arc.
Well, that's what I want to say again is that I appreciate you being out there as a creator and talking about some of the things that people can do. Like you said, there are benefits to rotational.
Take care of yourself. Drive safe out there and all. I know you're in a holding pattern, but be safe because it's the weekend. Everybody's drunk and crazy as hell.
All right, thank you, man. Take care.
Take care, buddy.
All right, let's see who else we got down here. I think we got time for like maybe one or two more calls. Let's bring up Amy84. Did I click on Amy84? Clicked on somebody. Maybe I didn't. Oh wait, there she is. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Absolutely love your content. I don't think I've ever laughed as hard at a video as when you said that Charlie was leaning to the left. So that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I found your content. Those started with the chickens and then stayed for all the other greatness. So keep it up. You're doing awesome. I'm not going to take up too much of your time.
Thank you so much. Y'all take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Let's see. We're going to bring up, trying to see if I recognize anybody that's been on here for a hot minute. Let's bring up that fungi. I like fungi. I like mushrooms. I don't like the fungi in The Last of Us. It's terrifying. I think I might have lost them. Let's bring up Rumham. I think it's been there for a hot minute. Rumham.
Hey man, how's it going?
What's happening, buddy?
Hey, first off, love your content. Second off, I love what you're saying about veterinarians. So I'm a veterinarian that grew up in a rural community, but I wasn't, out on the farm much. I grew up in town, but then when I went to college and decided I was going to go down the veterinary route, I really wanted to, go back to a rural community and kind of be a resource for a lot of people like yourself. And I've managed to find like a handful of clients here and there that I really could, find some value in to really help them and stuff. But damn, it was, it just beat it out of me, brother. And after 4 years of it, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you, saying what you're saying out there about us, because, that's a big deal. That's not being said enough, I think.
Yeah. It's amazing it's not being talked about. I mean, it's bad when even the Trump administration is going to throw money at it. Apparently,
Hmm.
Bush just said they're trying to put aside. I mean, it's a paltry amount of money. I can't remember if it was 12 million or 50 million, but it was 50 million or less. Basically saying that we'll pay for your veterinary school if you live in bumfuck for like 3 years. And
Yeah.
vets are like, nah, like I'm good.
Well, that's what happened to me. And so I got a 4-year deal to, like, they would pay me, X amount for 4 years to take out, my loans. And so I took half of my loans out. If I had an option to do it again, I would have just taken the big loan amount,
Yeah.
like, no question. Absolutely.
That's how you know we're living in hell. Good Lord.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate your service and you going through all that and helping who you were able to help while you're there. But I feel you.
Thanks so much for bringing me up, brother.
All right now, y'all be good.
Take care.
All right, y'all. Well, it is 8 o'clock. I'm so sorry I couldn't get to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for this special Friday night edition of Skywoman Live, where we were discussing the beef with beef and what's going on with Argentina and Brazil and the tariffs and the beef being too damn high and everything being too damn expensive. We might be able to do this again. Who knows what outrages are going to happen over the weekend, especially since Donald Trump is scheduled to get on an airplane and go embarrass himself and the entire country again overseas. But it is what it is. Thank you for everybody who's donated gifts so we can continue to do this program. Again, these things actually take hours to put together and synthesize all the information and fact check it and make sure everything is correct. And I'm not spreading bullshit to an audience of a couple hundred people. Gifts of roses and galaxies and tiny dinosaurs and dragon helmets and mustaches with hats and whatnot are very much appreciated. You can also drop a gift over at venmo.com/Skywoman Media. Also, I'm on Patreon, where you can get all my writings and the chapter by chapter release of my audiobook, patreon.com/Skywoman. All those links are in my bio, as well as the link to my book, which you can read if you're interested in food and farming systems and the history of how farming in America got to be the way it is, how colonialism intersects with capitalism, and how the farming system is the way it is, and how we can build a better type of system to help replace the 50% of farmers that are going to be retiring by 2035. So, in addition to all that, of course, if you're in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area, I also run a farm, Blackbird Farms, with 3 other partners, plus 1 silent money partner. We do pasture-raised poultry, and we sell beef and pork from a couple of good friends of mine, where I can keep my eyeballs on exactly what they're doing, and I trust them. You can purchase that stuff at www.blackbirdcoop.com. All links in my bio. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy your Friday. Be safe. Don't do nothing stupid. Don't get caught if you do. Y'all take good care. We'll see you on Tuesday.